All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Week 8 edition of the SHIPIT Nation Cash Game Show. We'll go through and kind of develop that player pool for cash games. And then obviously recommend you get on over to shipitnation.com where we will have cores for FanDuel and DraftKings related to cash games, along with all our other content. But as always, joined by my guy, Title. Already here, Week 8. Not a ton of injury news. We'll touch on a couple pieces. But how are you doing? Any initial Week 8 thoughts here?
Doing well. 10 games again. Only 3 in the afternoon window instead of 4 this time, which I always prefer more, just in case I'm trying to catch up and I have more options to swap. But not really the case this week. There is going to be some pieces in the afternoon games though that you'll probably have open spots if you do need a swap. First thing that stands out is relatively tough, but there's also a couple clear plays. I was scrolling through DK pricing and saw the big dog Derrick Henry at $6,000. You don't really see that very often. With Lamar back, this is a completely different Ravens team and applied for 28 points. So a couple pricing things when we go position by position. Big dog at 6K, a couple other mispriced players, but cash has been pretty solid this year in terms of, there's always groupthink and trains and stuff, but most weeks it's been at least pretty difficult when it comes down to the last couple decisions.
Yeah, and one big change, I'm glad you kind of touched on the running back stuff first, because as you can see here, I have SaberSim up. We're partnered with Saber. It's the first week where they've actually got DraftKings got somewhat aggressive with the pricing. We see Jonathan Taylor 95, McCaffrey 9K, Bijan 8,800. So they got those big three, which they're kind of the big three fantasy guys right now. Especially at the running back position, they finally got their price tags up there, which I think is great. I think overall pricing has been very, very soft this season. I think this is the first week where we see some accurate pricing, I'd say. I'm not going to call it tight pricing. This is where these guys should be. They're absolute studs and absolutely go off just about every single week. So very high floor play. So how does that kind of affect things going into Week 8?
Yeah, they did that right, but they also Jamar Chase is 8,100 still. And there's no excuse for that. That was a whole Thursday game, a long week. So while they did make running back good, that was about the only position that they did. And with only a handful of guys that they priced accordingly, I think it's Bijan. I look at McCaffrey, Bijan, JT, all very similar, and you get the biggest price discount from them. So it's him if you're going all the way up, but then there's enough mid-tier options. They still refuse to move Rachaad White's price. Come on, Bucky Irving's not playing. They've been telling us that. Move them up to 7-3 or 7-2. Obviously, Derrick Henry has been really bad and stuff, but it was planned that Lamar was going to come back this week. Obviously, the pricing algorithm on DraftKings doesn't have that in the equation, but what it does is you probably just aren't playing the JTs or the McCaffreys, or you can if you want to get all the way up. I haven't played JT much this year, and it's definitely costing me some weeks, but yeah, my initial thoughts is you just play Bijan for the savings, or you play more mid-tier running backs because they did not do a good job pricing Chase or other positions up.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. And, we talked about it a lot last year on FanDuel where they did a really good job with the studs overall, the high-end volume guys. They got the rushing quarterbacks priced appropriately. They had the high volume running backs priced appropriately. They had the high volume wide receivers priced appropriately, and same thing with tight ends, the big tight ends. But then everyone else was super, super cheap, so they made sure to bump the prices of the studs. But then you see guys that should be creeping up to that upper range stay low all season, and we have seen that again over there this year with Chris Olave. They refused to price him over 6K. I haven't looked at this week yet. We'll see when we get there. But him, Jacoby Myers, Ted McMillan, all these guys, they kept him right around 6K. So I'm happy they did it, but like take that next step and get the quarterbacks there, get the wide receivers there, get the tight ends there. And then, give us some real decisions. So I do want to start at running back on DK because this is where we have, like I said, seen the biggest change with the pricing, but still leaves us, I think, with two guys that you probably just have to start with in cash. And it's, Rachaad White at 64, favored against New Orleans. He's getting all the work. Obviously, they laid a complete dud against the Lions on Monday night, but they're favored here again, and he gets all the work. So many outs to get there. And then the big dog, we're using Sabres projections, and I think they're definitely too light at 16.3. So I bumped him to 18. And you go in, if you sort by value, because I think 18 is a pretty accurate number, and it kind of goes to what you say, and you don't even need to elaborate on it because I think it's just kind of remains true. You have two underpriced guys in White and Henry, and then it's like, do you have the money to play Bijan and Jamar Chase? Because when we get to wide receiver, you're probably just playing Jamar Chase. So I think when you look at running back, you're probably taking these value guys, Henry at 6K, Rachaad White at 6.4. We're going to talk about wide receiver. Jamar Chase is underpriced at 81. And then it just comes down to, can you fit that third stud running back in there? And, based on what we're seeing here and based on what you said, I do agree it's probably Bijan.
Yeah, no, that's kind of how I see it. I will say from the top, I don't think 2 or 3 running backs is a must this week. I think it does depend on a couple other decisions. But like I said, man, I should have played him more than I guess I have. I just don't see that $700 pricing discount right now, like how I'd play JT over Bijan. It's a nut matchup for Bijan. Like, this Dolphins team's terrible. Bijan's one of the best, if not the best running back in the league. Like, I just assume I'm taking the $700 savings. In a vacuum, I prefer Bijan to McCaffrey right now. So you're playing White, you're playing Derrick Henry. Then if you have the money for Bijan, you go that route. Absolutely no complaints. I think Achane and James Cook are also in play. If you do want, like, 1,500 savings is a real price tag, like is a real discount to Achane. James Cook even cheaper at 6.7. Carolina's been a little better, but man, these Bills just moved the ball so well, implied for 27 points off the bye, no competition. I do think James Cook is pretty strong too. If I had to go to the last one and I didn't have the money for James Cook, Breece Hall for 600 savings, maybe. I mean, he's still just on the field a ton. Man, his expected fantasy points were a lot better than what he did last week. The problem is, like, do I really want to play a Jet right now with all that mess that's going on? Probably not. I'd rather find the 600, but if everything was perfect in my lineup, I don't know, maybe.
Garrett Wilson out, like, if they have any offensive production, you have to imagine it comes through him in some way, shape, or form, and he is cheap. I mean, he has a path, if it's a competitive game, to just a ton of work rushing and receiving. So I think he is in play for sure. And then, like, the Achane call, I don't hate that. 73, terrible spot last week. We nailed it on the Sunday morning show where it was just the worst spot ever from Miami. I threw out the Cleveland bet at the end of the show. I hope people got on it. Those are just the obvious spots with Miami. Those have been the spots for Miami for years, like on the road, bad weather, like they just cannot perform. Now they're in a dome. I expect them to be more, I like Atlanta to win the game, don't get me wrong, but I expect them to be more productive from a scoring point, fantasy point perspective. And 73 for him is totally fair, I would say. So I like that call. Let's check out wide receiver. We already talked about Jamar Chase. I mean, just insane. I mean, duh, you have Jamar Chase and you're a quarterback in the NFL. Like, throw him the football. I mean, wow, like crazy how it could work like that, right? I mean, some of these quarterbacks like just make it so much harder on themselves. 23 targets for Jamar Chase. And I don't care if you want to call it chasing. I don't care whatever term you want to put behind the Jamar Chase recommendation. The man got 23 targets with the new quarterback. I'm playing him in every single format possible. It includes cash, 8,100, way too cheap. I mean, I think he is it's tough to call 8,100 guy a free square, but he's the free square of the week in cash games. Yeah, you just play him. You just play it.
Yeah,
After him, you got to do it. After him, you got a lot of other options. I think probably saving some money. If Lamar Jackson is in, which I assume is the case, like Zay Flowers at 54 is really, really cheap. And I think it's a situation where him and Henry are cheap enough where you can play them both. I mean, I know that's a big question. People are going to say, oh, well, if I'm playing Derrick Henry, can I really play Zay Flowers? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, you're paying $11,400 for them combined. Zay Flowers with Lamar Jackson is not a $5,400 wide receiver. And I think he's an even better play this week. Like Lamar coming back from the injury, maybe there is some hesitation to rush him. And then there's more, having rushed the football, I'm saying, and maybe it leads to some more passing. So I think Zay Flowers is a very fine option. This is just sorted by value based on Sabres projections. We got Wandale up here, Tez Johnson, Shakir. You have the cheapies at the top, Josh Reynolds. I mean, could be wide receiver 1, but again, similar to the Breece Hall stuff, he's wide receiver 1 with Tyrod Taylor and the Jets as a team. I mean, they're terrible. Malik Washington at 37. So, yeah, I mean, you do have paths to go, but the two at the top of my list, Jamar Chase, and I would just play Zay Flowers. I think that's a really good price tag for him too.
Yeah, no argument. I mean, they're implied for 28 points. I'm still holding on hope for the Ravens. I think they get on a run. I think they can win the division, and then no one wants to see that team in the playoffs if they're healthy, assuming the defense does something. But yeah,
I mean, defense has to show up a little bit. The defense has been so bad.
They got to get healthy.
So yeah,
but yes, they no doubt. It doesn't matter how good your offense is if your defense is that bad. Chase, yeah, like we said, the next highest price, Igbuka. I mean, so we talked about Rachaad White. You can easily play White and Igbuka together. No Chris Godwin. I'd be shocked if there's Mike Evans this week. Great matchup in a dome. Igbuka looks like a smash right here. If you go down a little more, man, that Drake London price at 6'4", I do think that's nice. In play too.
That's a nice price. I agree there. I just saw that one.
Yeah, I mean, man, he just gets peppered. It's Drake, it's Bijan. That's pretty much their entire offense. So
yeah. I do want to add one more injury thing that I didn't touch on. AJ Brown hasn't practiced all week, and there's definitely a chance he misses. They said like he doesn't need to practice to play, so like I don't think it's a lock that he sits. But if he sits, Devonta Smith 5,900 I think would be a great play as well. And then one other piece of news, we talked about Nico Collins a little bit. Him and Christian Kirk haven't practiced all week, and like if Collins is out, like this Jalen Noel
I think
guy,
that's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot more real, I think, than AJ Brown. I actually don't think Nico does play. Got banged up in that.
Yeah, the Noel guy looked like wide receiver 1 after he went out again. I mean, their offense was absolutely terrible. 7 targets for him.
Yeah.
I think he's a great play.
Yeah, I'll get down there. I mean, it's just like tiers. There's Chase, who you're playing. You can play Igbuka if you got the money. If you're playing Igbuka, you're probably not able to get Bijan, so that's one decision. If you want to save a little, there's Drake London, Olave. I mean, the price just does not move. 5.8K. I'm going to keep playing them. I mean, man, the bonus. No one's ran back as worse as Olave has with the bonus. I think it was 2 yards back-to-back weeks, and he got it. He was like 98 yards at half or something, it felt like. I mean, just terrible. He couldn't find the 2 yards, but Olave, I'm going to keep playing him. Zay Flowers, way too cheap at 5.4. Raheem Shaheed at 4.7K. Big play upside. I think just a good game environment, both the Buccaneers and the Saints. 2 defenses I'm not worried about at all. Big play upside. I like him. Judy, I'm fine with that 4-1. Mims 3.9. Josh Reynolds 3.9. But I do think I prefer like your Noel call. It's Noel and Higgins. But Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, 3.5K a piece on both sides. I agree. It probably is Noel. I mean, he played more in the slot. He looked good coming into that game, though. Higgins props were higher. So that's something that I'm definitely going to be looking at props. If I do need 3.5K, I have 2 Houston guys, both on the field a ton. Just from the eye test and watching that game, I agree. It did seem like Noel a little bit, but I'll always trust books and receiving props and receptions and touchdowns, etc. But very much in play all the way down there at 3.5. And again, like a play like that is how you do get a Bijan, or if you go Igbuka, Chase, something like that. So yeah, receiver's pretty tough outside of Jamar. And then I guess you prefer Olave or Zay Flowers if having to pick in pretty similar price range.
Yeah, I think that's the decision. Like, yeah, this sort of conversation, any thoughts on Higgins for leverage off Chase or stacking the two? Like, definitely more of a Sunday conversation. We'll touch on that on the Sunday show, because then, I think you're talking more like GPP sort of thing. For cash, I think you're definitely just playing Jamar Chase. And then, I don't think there's a need to play Higgins. But in tournaments, which we'll definitely touch on, in our content and then on the show on Sunday, I think Higgins is a totally fine option. But I am somewhat concerned because, Flacco looked locked in on Jamar Chase. And if you want to remain the quarterback for a team that needs a quarterback, throw the ball to their wide receiver one a ton and continue to do it. And it probably just happens again this week. But again, T. Higgins, I think, is fine for tournaments. But the concern is he just sticks with Jamar Chase.
No, and again, it's not that we care too much, but no Sauce Gardner either for the Jets this week. So their secondary
could be a disaster for the Jets situation for sure.
Probably all year.
It's
team to pick on in Survivor.
Yes. Yeah. No, we got a lot of teams now to pick on in Survivor. Jets, Titans. Kind of the Dolphins appear to be heading down that path too. Yeah. So tight end. Then we'll go to quarterback because I don't know. A lot of weeks quarterback's been pretty wide open, and there's usually not like a must play at quarterback, and I don't think that's the case. I think it's probably the case again this week. So tight end, again, there's nothing super expensive. Jake Ferguson at 6K. Love Jake Ferguson, but would not play him in cash games at 6K. Tyler Warren 5.5, probably fine if you want to do that. Sort by value, and this makes me happy. Mr. Dalton Schultz right at the top of the board, and assuming those guys are out, I think they are out. Schultz represents, 10 targets last week, and it was a ton of just easy convertible points for him, really. It was just a lot of dump offs. I think he could definitely do that again. So for me, if you're saving, like right now, I would be playing Schultz. I think he's a very solid cash game play. If you want to spend or have extra money, it's probably Tyler Warren. You can definitely hit on it, but for me, it would just be one of those two, and I would probably just take the savings with Schultz. 10 targets with their main offensive weapons out. The main offensive weapons probably out again this week, like 3.3K. I'd take that and just move on.
Yeah, 100%. The debate is two tight ends have been in play a little more. If you do want to jam Bijan, Chase, Igbuka and stuff, maybe you double punt tight end and a guy like Cade Otton or Mason Taylor. 3.4K, 3.5K. Probably lean Cade Otton right now. If there's no Mike Evans or Godwin, he also gets a pretty significant bump. I don't know. The opportunity cost of going two tight end, though, is a little much. Tyler Warren, I guess. If I'm playing two tight end, I look at Tyler Warren. I keep playing this guy. He keeps being low owned. He keeps having a monster first half and does nothing in the second half, partly due to the Colts are just stomping these guys.
Yeah, they're just stomping the shit out of the competition, yeah.
Too good. And you can definitely see that happening again this week against Tennessee. But 5.5, you're pretty much comparing them if you played them in the flex to Zay Flowers, to Chris Olave, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. People just view the position stuff just a little bit funky in their head, where it's all right, it's a tight end. I can't play two of them. Some of these tight ends are wide receiver ones. Trey McBride is a wide receiver one. Tyler Warren, wide receiver one. When Brock Bowers is healthy, wide receiver one. So that's how you should be viewing them. And typically they're priced much lower than, top end wide receiver one. So the case can definitely be made this week. Probably not as strong just because the Colts situation, they're favored by 14.5. And it seems like it could likely be one of those situations for Warren where it's a big first half and they're up by a shit ton in the second half and he gets a goose egg or something along those lines.
Yeah, for sure. But even his first halves, he almost ends with a flame, 15-16. He keeps outdoing his projection. It's just not getting to the ceiling outcome because of that. But yeah, you're playing Dalton Schultz, and it's going to be the same on FanDuel. His price with his targets, with his role, with the injuries, just plug and play.
Yeah. Like I said, quarterback's been pretty wide open. I think that's definitely the case again this week. Sorry for the sound that keeps going off. Got some construction going on here in the house, and just gonna have to fight through it here for the next 15 or 20 minutes or so. But quarterback's been pretty wide open. So we have Saber and you sort by value, like Tyrod Taylor's at the top, and then Daniel Jones, and then Bo Nix. Definitely not playing Tyrod Taylor. I don't care what the savings does for my lineup. That is not happening. But guys, I am interested in, and probably the one I'm most interested in is Bo Nix at 6K. It was all last minute sort of thing last week when he got there. Their offense has been somewhat concerning. There's no doubt about it, but man, the Dallas defense is just not very good. I mean, the Dallas defense kind of got bailed out last week with Jaden Daniels going out early in that game. I have no doubt in my mind, like if Jaden Daniels stays in there, Commanders score some points in the second half. But Bo Nix at 6K seems very, very solid this week for me. Daniel Jones at 6-1. Dad Jones, very similar to what you just said about Tyler Warren, like has had these monster first halves and then just hasn't really needed it. Could be the case again, but he's doing enough in the first half. He's getting in the 20s in the first half. That could definitely happen again today or this week. Like, can you make the case for going to the top to like Josh Allen? Like, I don't think you need it this week. Probably low sixes is where I want to live. And then someone mentioned Flacco. I don't hate it at 54 if you need it and everything else works. So quarterback here on DK, what are we doing?
Probably playing Bo Nix. But Jalen Hurts, if I had the 600, I think I'd be fine with Jalen Hurts. Like in a vacuum, just with that tush push upside. I don't know, actually. It's close. Again, I assume I'm probably playing Nix. Maybe I'm even more likely to play. I guess Flacco's fine, but if I really need the savings, like I think I would try and find the 600. Spencer Rattler is the one down below, all the way down at 4,700. If it gets me Bijan, Chase, Igbuka, if it gets me the all-star team I want, 1,300 is enough money to get you on different roster construction builds from Bo Nix that I would be open to doing that. He's shown some rushing upside. He's played well. I've actually been impressed with him. Gets a home game, expected to score 21 in a good game script. I'd be fine with it, but it'd have to give me everything I want. Bo Nix right now is the plan.
Yeah, I like that call, and I think he's the clear play, good price tag. Dallas defense is pretty dusty, and they're projected to score 28 points. It's not like this is just like, I want to play against Dallas defense. They're projected to score points too, so I think the Bo Nix play is very stable. Defense, pull that up quickly, then we'll flip over to FanDuel, see if anything changes over there. A lot of people are talking about the Browns at 25. I would just go Bengals at 27. I mean, touchdown favorites at home, I think they're a fine option. If you have the money,
I think it's one of those two, probably.
Yeah, probably Bengals or Browns. I mean, assuming I was just trying to put a build in here to see what, like, you always can benefit from like a cheapish sort of defense. Yeah, so I see what the main decision now is really going to be. It's going to be, do you punt off one of the wide receiver spots to get one of those other high-end running backs? It's kind of what it comes down to now that it's building. So that's what the decision will come down to. Do you punt off a wide receiver spot with like Noel or someone like that, or do you just kind of go another mid-tier wide receiver, and then you have that tough decision? Like, do you find a way to play like Breece Hall, or do you play like a Tyler Warren? So I think that's kind of the main decision on FanDuel, what you do with wide receiver 3
on DK.
On DK. Or sorry, I said on FanDuel. Yeah, on DK. So yeah, pretty straightforward, I guess, for the most part. Let's see how it differs. I haven't even pulled up FanDuel yet.
Pretty similar. Let's just start at tight end position. You're playing Dalton Schultz, and you don't play 2 tight ends on FanDuel. So there's one position.
That's music. That is music to my ears. You know that. Dalton Schultz.
5,100. I know. Chalk Dalton Schultz week. I mean, it feels like it's been years since we've seen Dalton Schultz. I'm happy for my best ball teams. I got a couple teams.
Yes, same,
overweight
man.
Schultz, and I was scared.
It's going to pay off at least for a couple weeks here. Got us last week, and then hopefully this week too. But yeah, 51 if you do. So this is
it will, Coach Sav. But I mean, you're not going for lower ownership. We're talking cash games right here. So if anything, you prioritize high ownership than low ownership. You don't want to be on the island. But yeah, JT being that expensive and Colts D being that expensive definitely will be low owned. Definitely has a ceiling. Enough value you can play in tournaments.
Yeah, 51. Let's just hit defense real quick while we're here. Been some cheaper defense. So my Atlanta 41, definitely totally. I think that's a fine option. Baltimore 37. I mean, their defense has been bad, but I'm with you. I think they just have to turn it around a little bit. They can't be that bad. And Chicago, Caleb Williams, he'll make some dumbass decisions. So I don't hate that one.
I'd be fine with Saints all the way at 3K too. That's what I mean. Defense on FanDuel will be one of the last things that I come back to, I think, because I'm fine with them in price this week.
Yeah. Where are they? You said 3K?
Yeah, min all the way down.
Yeah, I don't hate that. 3K.
Like I do prefer
Tampa.
getting up to your Ravens, like you're saying. I mean, I could even play with the Giants against the Eagles. I mean, these dudes, their O line has been dust. Hurts like, yeah, defense. I think it's a lot more clear on DK right now to playing Browns or Bengals, whereas FanDuel, I could play one of 5 defenses really, and I don't really care.
Yeah, the Ott stuff, like I think he's fine play, but he's more expensive than Schultz. I would definitely just take the savings there. Look at running back, and they've done a good job, like I said, of getting these. Okay, so we got one interesting situation where you got Jonathan Taylor at 10-2, Bijan 10K, McCaffrey, pretty big discount, 9,100. So you're saving 900 with McCaffrey versus Bijan and 1,100. McCaffrey versus Jonathan Taylor. I think that's definitely an interesting situation to take a look at. You got Derrick Henry more expensive over here at 8K. James Cook 82. Still have Rashad White cheap, I'd say, at 73. Ramondre Stevenson 6K. Like he's kind of getting most of the work over there. They're favored by a touchdown. So definitely not as clear running back situation on FanDuel opposed to DK, where we have the free squares and, well, I wouldn't say free squares, but clear plays and Derrick Henry and Rashad White. Rashad White's still cheap over here in play, but not as clear after him in my eyes.
Yeah, and this is where FanDuel and DK differs. FanDuel has done a good job pricing up not only the running backs, but Chase is 9.6, CD's 9K, 8.4 for AJ Brown. Like they're all priced up enough. FanDuel being half point PPR, touchdowns mean more. Like I think this is where you're spending up at running back. We're punting tight end with Schultz. We're fine with the min price 3K defense. Like I fine with some cheaper receivers. JT's very much in play at 10-2. It feels expensive, but when they do a great job pricing up the whole room, there's less decisions. I mean, we don't have a 6.2K starting running back or whatever. Rashad White's the clear guy, I think, like 7.3. He's the one that they just continue to get wrong. They're implied for 26 favorites. He can catch the ball, good running. Like, no Mike Evans, no Godwin. I think that's the clear play. But after that, it's tough, and it's tough with the best names. Like, I don't think I'm going anywhere below White. I think I'm playing White at 7.3, and then probably 2 of JT, McCaffrey, Saquon, Derrick Henry, I think. You could throw Achane in there, but I definitely would rather find that 100 to get up to big dog with the half point PPR and stuff like that. So I mean, I think we're jamming running back. You're playing White and you're playing 2 studs. I think there's enough value on this slate, and they're just so good. And the scoring fits them so well. And yeah, I guess, do I have a lean? I don't know. McCaffrey with the discount feels strong, but I think you're playing any of probably 2 of JT, McCaffrey, Saquon, Henry, and I guess I'll throw Achane in there. And I don't know how you feel bad about anything you land on, but it's tough.
Yeah, I guess, Saquon definitely has a much cheaper price over here at 8,100. Got to do something at some point, right? Like, and he can't go on all season like this, can he?
The problem is this man, like he just is getting touched behind, like at the line of scrimmage or 1 yard. They're just not getting holes. Bijan's fine, but the problem with Bijan is I think at this point I just diversify. $200 difference from JT and Bijan, and then McCaffrey you get 900 savings. Whereas on DK, McCaffrey, he's higher price. I know JT it's 700, and I want to say it's 200 on DK. So I think it's just you easily just play if you're playing both sides, and even if you're not, like, man, JT, I don't know. I'd probably nothing bad to say about Bijan. I just think because of the pricing and playing on both sides, easy. I can find myself in an easy spot due to pricing.
And you start to look at the scoring too. Like, he catches more passes. Like Jonathan Taylor's more touchdown dependent. It just makes sense to favor Bijan on DK, favor Jonathan Taylor on FanDuel. I think it just, if you're playing on both sides, we talk about a lot. It's one of those natural hedge situations where you have just a built-in hedge that makes sense on both ends, and you're not just hedging to hedge. You're hedging with logic. which I think is also important.
I mean, I don't hate it. If someone landed with Bijan and cash, I wouldn't.
Yeah, sure.
You're
If you get everything in the world exactly how you dialed it up, and you get to that running back spot, and you have $10,000 exactly, you just play Bijan and don't change anything. Now,
for sure.
Is it likely that you get everything you want and it perfectly lands on Bijan? Probably not, but like if that scenario plays out, I'd be totally fine with it. I would not be looking to change things around to get up to Jonathan Taylor. I would plug in Bijan and call it a day.
For sure. Very tough, and I don't know my answer to this, but knowing or assuming you're playing Derrick Henry on DK and you have 8,100 on FanDuel, Saquon, Henry, Achane, what are you doing?
Say that again. I just saw Underdog. They said if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, Huntley would start. Like, why would they even have that information? Why would they even say that? That's kind of weird.
Anyway, I'm just he better be. He fully practiced on
fully
Friday.
Practice. Like, why would they even say that Huntley would start? It makes zero sense. All right, run that scenario by me again.
You're playing Derrick Henry on DK. Yeah. You have 8,100 on FanDuel. Saquon, Henry, Achane. What are you doing?
Saquon. I would just.
I think I'm in agreement.
Something. I don't know. It's not a comfortable situation, but my God, 8,100 like is got to do something at some point. Like it just. I don't know.
It's either him or Henry for me. I do have Achane a little. I mean, McDaniel's mentioning getting freaking Jalen Wright involved. Like, what are we doing? Like, Jalen Wright does not need to get involved in anything.
How do some of these guys? We talk. It's like beating a dead horse because we talk about it all the time. But how do some of these guys continue to have jobs? Like the NFL coaches are just.
We talk about it. I mean, talk at the poker table. I mean, these guys are Cardinals fans, and just like they bring up all the analytics on some of these. Just like they're torching the game. It's like the win percentage on these decisions. It's insane how much it swings games that these guys in billion-dollar business. Like these guys are the ones running it, and they're torching their win equity from simple decisions.
I just firmly believe these guys have had people like kissing their ass their entire life, and they just love the I'm the smartest guy in the room mentality. I know this probably makes sense, but I'm smarter than what makes sense, so I'm going to do this. And there's never any repercussions. Like they never get fired. So it's like they just do it. And then if they do get fired, someone else hires their asses. So it's like there's never any repercussions for poor decision making. And these guys just do it.
Fired instantly if you're Dable against the Broncos and you lost that game as a point 99 to like. Just there were so many things. I mean, you have one timeout.
Run it every single play. Just literally, if you run the football every single play, it's game. There would be no way the team could have enough time to beat.
Instead, they throw a pick and they get to the 10, and then this and. Oh my gosh! I mean, the guy's clearly running back. They're about to spike the ball. Your dude's offsides. You have a timeout. Hey, buddy, maybe use a timeout. Save yourself 5 yards. Like
there's never any accountability, so it just doesn't matter.
No, and no, I mean they're 6.5 point favorites. Like the only real one would be I think the Colts. Because we don't have
if you're going to be concerned about blowouts in a 6.5 spread, you better sit out this slate because I think a majority of the games have a spread that high or more. So like just don't play the slate if you're concerned about 6.5.
Yeah,
that'd be my advice. Wide receiver, like you said, they did a better job pricing these guys up. Let me get rid of the dudes that aren't playing. Jamar Chase up to 96, much harder to get there. Over here, they got AJ Brown, Drake London's even up here a little bit at 78, Abuka 75. I think that stands out as potentially a play. Definitely, again, if AJ Brown sits, Devonta Smith 6,700, I would have interest there. Chris Olave 66, definitely still too cheap. Zay Flowers. I guess the main thing here is it's not a slam dunk to play Chase. I mean, you're definitely playing him on DK, but on FanDuel it's not as clear. And then again, if what's the dude's name? Nico Collins is out. I mean, 4,500. Like even in cash games, you get a 0 from a guy at 4,500. You are still live to cash. I would strongly consider him. I mean, it just puts you in a whole different roster construction type here, when you're going all the way down to 4,500, I'd strongly consider it if Nico Collins is out, and I think Nico Collins will be out.
100%. Like if you're spending all that at running back, you need to find savings somewhere. They offered on FanDuel. Like how you don't see how you can get up to Jamar Chase. The highest receiver I could get up to is Igbuka at 7.5, and I would really like to get Igbuka. Again, with all the injuries, the dude's just a stud. I like it a lot. Let's keep going down. Chris Olave, 6.6K. Again, Devontae Smith. If there is no AJ Brown, 6.7, that'd be very strong as well. You can see the FanDuel, like Zay Flowers is 7.1. You can just see the complete difference in pricing on both sides. Going down a little from Olave, Stephon Diggs, I think he's good. I think Tet McMillan at 6.4 is good. I think Raheed Shaheed at 5.7 is solid. I think Shakir at 6K is solid. Again, you're going to be needing to save like at receiver. If we're playing all those big boy running backs, and I think when we get to quarterback, you're probably playing Bo Nix at 7.8, which is kind of a spend. You're going to need to spend a little at receiver. Shaheed 5.7, Keon Coleman 5.5, Marvin Mims 5.2. And then, yeah, I think you're just going down to the null. I mean, 4.5K is a really good price tag. They have Higgins at 5.3. Like, it's clearly the 800 savings there. And if, like, I had them projected the same at coin flip and I was playing one on DK, I would go Higgins on DK at the same price, no on FanDuel for the savings. Again, assuming props were identical, projection was identical, etc. I'm not sure that'll be the case. But, I mean, Noah at 4.5 makes a lot work to get those running backs you want. And, yeah, I mean, you can take a 0 and JT gets you 35, or like your running backs do that. It doesn't matter what they get you. And it's hard to see him getting a 0. Like, I mean, they're still implied for 22 points. They're really beat up. He was, he's good. He was solid. 7 targets. 7 targets.
Yeah, 7 targets. And that wasn't even like full game with Nico Collins out. This is full game, probably Nico Collins. 7 targets, 4 receptions. So 4 for 77. I mean, and that was, I can't remember when Nico went out. It might have been around halftime or something. I mean, the guy got 11 fantasy points. Like, sign me up right now for 11. Like, I'd be thrilled to put that in my cash lineup. I'd be thrilled. And that's on DK, so it's a little bit different here on FanDuel with the scoring. But
sign me up for 7.8. I mean,
same concept. Yeah. So quarterback.
I think you're playing Bo.
Yeah, they got the big guys priced up. Joe Flacco 73. Bo Nix, yeah, it's like 78. Seems strong. I guess maybe Drake May comes into the conversation a little bit here. I guess Daniel Jones 77, where the rushing upside is fine. But for me, it's like I want to pick on that Dallas D, and they're projected to score 28. Should be a close game. Like I like the Bo Nix stuff for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1K on FanDuel to get up to Hurts, where it's at 600 on DK. And then if you're taking the savings Bo to Rattler, it's 1,200, whereas it's 1,300 on DK. But that 1,300 goes a little farther with it, 50,000 versus 60,000 salary cap. So, yeah, I think it's probably Bo on both sides, but I feel even stronger right now that it's Bo on FanDuel.
Yep. All right, kind of hit on. We'll definitely hit on everything. The main thing I think is definitely AJ Brown news. If he's out, obviously Devonta Smith, and I guess Saquon to some degree. We talked about him a little on FanDuel, and then Nico Collins. I think is very big for cash games, like very very big, because if he's out, it's probably Noel. Noel, I don't know if it's Noel, however the hell you pronounce it.
I always said Noel, but it's Noel. So
okay, Noel. Yeah. So the Nico Collins stuff is pretty big because it changes roster construction. I guess you could still go the cheap on DK. You could still go the cheap wide receiver route without that play, but it's probably a little more risky. So, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, I think I always love doing these shows. I mean, obviously I look a little bit ahead of time, but talking it through gets us even more of a pinpointed in cash, but that doesn't, especially as these weeks go on. I mean, random injury. We just saw Lamar. Like, I still expect him to play, but one random injury news and stuff can change the whole slate. I mean, as good as Zay looks at 5.4, he wouldn't look nearly as appealing if it's Huntley instead of Lamar. So, yeah, all news, like I'll have the core up as always on Saturday. I always, if anything changes, Sunday morning, constantly refresh. But yeah, I'm excited. Week 8, next thing you know, it'll be 16, 17, and we're going to be back to back to the summer enjoying baseball.
It goes fast. It definitely goes fast. But as always, we'll be back next Friday, same place, same time, same crew. Good luck to everyone in your cash games this week. We will see you all next week.